I mean, what's really going down? But anyway, we got Christopher Seymore here. I want to get him in on the conversation, and I want to see. I want you to tell us, why people should start focusing on you, your campaign, your gubernatorial run. Why is that important? And what do you bring to the table as it pertains to leadership, which this state desperately needs right now? So I'm gonna let you go ahead and bite at that one. Thank you, sir.
Can you all hear me good?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you well.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to be on this show this morning. This has been a great opportunity to know you, Mr. Don Allen, over the years. Angela, I'm glad that you're here. And also, Mr. Anthony, thank you for being here. My name is Christopher Seymore. I'm born in Chicago, but raised here in Minnesota. I'm a well-traveled man throughout the United States of America. Outside of politics, which does not pay me, I am a chaplain by trade. I'm a hospice chaplain. So I deal with people in real situations, emotions, and life stances on a daily basis. And outside of that, I run life-changing outreach programs and services, which also has a department of African American self-reparations think tank. And I come from a family of healthcare providers. My mother recently passed away. Her funeral was in November. She was our leader, and our organization is called Your Assisted Living Friend. So I'm a helper of people, number one. What makes me different than any candidate in Minnesota, and I'll say in the history of any sitting official in the last 8 years, the difference between us is when they're not in office, they're not known for helping people.
Well, this
Yeah.
is Mr. Seymour's chance to let us know about his agenda, an actual
Yeah.
agenda, like I said last week, with independent variables and dependent variables that'll support that. And so that's what a real agenda is. And hopefully Mr. Seymour can give us some insight.
I
Go ahead, sir.
can. So forgive me for the bad connection. And so, again, my name is Christopher Seymore, running for governor of Minnesota, 2026. Um, to quickly stay on topic with what you guys are talking about with these hotbed issues, yes, they are huge distractions, most definitely. Um, but we're dealing with factions. And I have told people before that the United States is still in treaty mode between the Republicans and the Democrats since Civil War, and who's on top from time to time. We often say that the right wing and the left wing are part of the same bird. And right now we're in a house that cannot stand because we're divided, overly divided. And so there are factions. I'm one of the persons that believe that Donald Trump is not in control of his own presidency. Um, be it the large corporations, conglomerates, things of that nature, there is a shift going on in politics. And we're going through that shift right now. Me personally, I'm going to put this out there. Um, I'm not the governor yet. And at this point in time, it is my personal belief that I feel if the attorney general was worth his mustard, he would call an emergency session. They need to.
Can he do that? Can the Attorney General of the state of
Yes,
Minnesota call an
yes,
emergency
yes,
section?
yes, yes. We need to start an impeachment process for our governor and lieutenant governor. Neither one of them wants to be governor anymore. Number one, he's not running. His lieutenant governor has left him during his vice presidential campaign. She's not running. She's not on TV saying what she can and should do. Tim Walz is not strong enough to do the things that need to be done. I think protesters also have been misinformed, they're being misused, and they're misguided. Because if anyone should be protested against, it should be our leadership, our governor, right? Our senators, um, those who have left loopholes for all of these things to happen. And so I do want to jump in for Angela and give her, detailed information for what I would do. But I think I'll wait a little bit more till y'all start asking specific questions. But number one, um, we can recall Tim Walz, and then our lieutenant governor would be the governor. We could recall her. Then we have Steve Simon. He is next in that list. Even the attorney general is next in that list. But our senators and our Congress can get together, call a special election. It is very much possible. And the state would have to vote on such things. But our truth is, no one knows how to deal with our current Washington. We need to make some concessions here in Minnesota. No one has asked Donald Trump what he wants, and it is my belief I know what he wants. I know what the Republican Party or our federal government wants at this time. When I say
Okay, what do
there
they want?
is
What do they want? Because I need to back
this,
up to the point.
this is
Let
this
me
is what.
just let me just. I'm sorry for the interruption, but we try to keep it
Yeah,
real here, and I told you that when we
yeah.
talked on the phone because we've had you on here before. But I need to back up to where you said that. I asked specifically about Keith Ellison's role to start the impeachment process, and as soon as you said that, I had a bunch of people, including Minnesota state officials, just text me, and their thing, they just told me that that is not Ellison's job. The impeachment process is a legislative thing, and the legislature would start that process, and Keith
Yeah.
Ellison would do the prosecuting,
So
according to them.
I'll say
So,
why I say that.
okay.
And I've been saying this for years. Minnesota is in a state of emergency.
Yeah, you're spot on.
We
Those texts from
we
your folks nailed it. I was crystal clear up front.
Go ahead.
we're in a state of emergency. We're almost to lawlessness, right? I'll be honest with you. If I was the governor and our United States or our Minnesota citizens are breaking into a hotel where our federal officers are, I, as a governor, I would get on television and say, you are not going to overthrow the federal government here in the state of Minnesota. There are processes, right? Again, protests should be at Keith Ellison's office, at the governor's mansion, at the senator's offices, because, and not mayor, but Moriarty, because these are the people who can actually lead conviction cases against those who are breaking the law. Mr. Scott asked, what are the stormtroopers even doing here, milling around in the city, right? They could go to the governor or to the president and say, show us the list, or we have the list because we have a Minnesota ICE agency here established. We know who our illegal immigrants are. We will go out and assist you in arresting this one, this one, because they've overstayed their visa. They
Okay.
have.
Pause.
Wait, excuse me 1 second. I gotta go and let somebody in the building.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be
Cool.
right back. Okay.
Okay. We'll wait for you to get back.
There are things that can be done. But back to relieving the governor, it may not start with Keith Ellison, but these are legal processes, and he is the lawyer of the state. That's why I mentioned him first, because we have to go with him and check what the law says. And somewhere in the law, he can state we either impeach and then we have lieutenant. We can impeach them both, and then we have the Secretary of State, and we go down the line. But because our federal government and our constituent citizens, we have no vote of confidence in our legislators right now.
And
Secretary of
there's a reason
State.
why we don't. There's a reason why we don't, because
Yeah.
they have been derelict in their duty. Going
And
back to the George Floyd
this
murder,
this
they've let this
this
city
is
burn down, and
this
they
is
haven't done anything to correct that by even
this
at
is what
least
I'm
cleaning up
stating.
the 38th Street
This
and
is what I'm
showing that they're
stating.
proactive. And that you're
And
sitting
Yes.
there, and you're running it
let me
down.
point something else out to you also.
I mean, how
Right
will you
now,
fix that? I mean, okay, I hear what you're saying, but how do you
that
go
is.
about in starting the change to fix that? Because I'm not a gubernatorial candidate. I can't
Mhm.
imagine I understand the processes of
I'll tell
even
you. I'll
going in
tell
that.
you.
I mean, how do you
I'll
fix
tell
that?
you.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you. Um, Even though Ken Martin is not a friend of mine, he was a stronger DFL chair than our current chair, right?
Okay.
The state DFL party is a state party. They are our state legislators. They are in control. The party leader can go and say, we have no vote of confidence in our elected official. He could start the process for impeachment. Our Republicans can also start the process for impeachment. The truth is, the Republicans are just as, now, I wouldn't say in cahoots, but they are just as responsible for the downfall of Minnesota when it comes to fraud. You know, just because it's 49-51 or 48-52 in our legislative House, Senate, it doesn't mean that there's not close to 50% of them also in leadership. We can bring about a change. It's been done in other scenarios, even if the full impeachment process doesn't go through. So, as a gubernatorial candidate, I'm stating right now to the party that I say I belong to, the DFL party, it starts there. Leadership is leadership, is leadership, is leadership. Someone
Okay.
needs to
Okay.
say,
How do you, again, I didn't, and I'm reading the messages. I can't display them on the screen for some reason today. I don't know. I hit some button somewhere to screw something up at the beginning of the show. But I
mhm,
mean, again, I've asked, I understand what leadership is, and Anthony and Mr. Scott understands what leadership is, and Angela. But
As a candidate, and because I hear you talking a lot about farm labor, and that's why I was like, okay, can you drop out? Because I don't really care about a farm. What I
you
care about
should,
is,
you have
well,
to,
wait a minute.
you have to, you eat.
I have to, okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, yeah, we can eat. We're gonna eat no matter what. But what I'm saying is, our living, our daily living. You know, what is the governor prepared to do to heal this community in the first 100 days?
Got you. Um, I'm going to read some things off, and number one, I want to say how much I hear and feel you, Angela, like with these things, with these things, with these things, with these things. Number one, most people don't know what the governor's job is. The governor's not in charge of a lot of things that most people think the governor is in charge of. So, my first 100 days, my day one, I'm going to the attorney general. We need to enact emergency state of emergency for in order for the governor to do some things. And so I'm going to just read off some things so I can be very clear. Um, let's start with the fraud. Everybody wants to know what everyone's going to do about the fraud, so let's go
That's
there.
right. Right.
I want to end the lack of oversight. The Office of Legislative Auditor, who you talking about, has pervasive non-compliance with grant managing
wait, you
policies.
you, you want to end the office of the state auditor?
No, no, that's not what I said.
Okay, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. What are you ending?
I said I want to end the lack of oversight.
Oh,
Okay.
There's no
Oh,
oversight. They
okay.
give this money out willy nilly. They don't check. I'll give you an example. The Feed Our Future fraud. it's COVID money, it's federal money, right? But as an example, I've worked for Parks and Recs. I'm a retired school teacher. You know, like I know, if we have 6,000 extra students that we're now feeding on a daily basis, how much bigger does the lunchroom staff has to grow overnight to feed 6,000 kids a day? That alone should be a red flag, because let me see your staffing list. Who's feeding 6,000 kids a day in locations that are 5 blocks from one another? The census didn't add up with those things. No one cared to check, because the truth is, Tim Walsh was killing people at the same time, and no one remembers that. I was at the governor's mansion. I was on the streets cursing Tim Walsh out over these nursing home things. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars to revamp nursing homes to kill thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of elderly people. While that was going on, monies are flying out the door everywhere. So that's what I mean by that. Ending direct allocations without competitive process, which means some of these people that receive these grant monies receive them directly from the people who wrote the bill to give out the monies. Many nonprofits receive substantial funding through direct legislative allocations, sidestepping the usual vetting procedures. This has led to instances where organizations with limited track records or operational concerns were awarded significant grants. I want to end that 100%. I want to also end fragmenting grant management, right? The same people who give out the money, allocate the money, should not be the same ones who do the checks and balance. There should be a separation of duties with these monies, right? And what I mean by that is Julie Blaha is our state auditor. She's an auditor. She should not also be the one who's writing checks. In some of these situations, when these departments, when they say, oh, we went back and checked, they're the same people, they're in the same departments who are giving out the money. Back to the legislators. Our legislators, problems that y'all have with, let's say, Omar. She may have wrote a bill about some money. She has no wherewithal to audit that money. Let's go to Melissa Hortman. Is that how you say her name? Our representative who was killed. She was the only one who voted against not auditing where these funds are going to, that left doors open, which brought in the controversy of speculations of why she's killed from the right wing or the left wing. So fragmented grant management, the state's approach to grant management is fragmented. It is inconsistent processes across agencies, leading to challenges to ensure accountability. So I want to overhaul and institute a new statewide stewardship, something that I call MESA, Minnesota Economic Stability and Sustainability Office, which will centralize our economic departments. So I'm going to give you some examples of what restructuring looks like.
When you get done doing that, I have a question for you, but go ahead.
For every $1 million that is not given, so we have DEED, and we have organizations that get grant money like Science Museum, right? But they're really state organizations, but we have these community organizations that get millions of dollars. For every $1 million, there should be a body from the state of Minnesota that works in your organization. You get $5 million, we got 5 people in there working for oversight. Where are the supplies going? Who's allocating? Who's writing checks and balances? Who's doing receivables? Who's doing payables? Who is monitoring who comes to work every day, right? No more grants for organizations that have $200,000 salaries. We're not giving money to that anymore. These monies should go directly to, let me use the correct words, services and programs recipients. We give away, let's say, $100 million. 50 million of that 100 million goes directly to salaries, and some of those salaries never meet the clientele of the people who are being served. We need to eliminate that. So what we can do is spend the same money on our people, legislate it correctly. We got $100 million just for one organization, whomever that organization is. We are not giving more than 25% of that to salary. Get your money from somewhere else. If you are a $500 million nonprofit, something is going on where you're getting monies from somewhere else. State allocated funds should go to state allocated resources. So we're not just giving monies away.
Okay.
I love our
I
black
need to
people.
interject. I need to
say
interject
something
there.
about that real quick.
Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, it sounds like, during the course of this fraud going on for years and years and years, it sounds like there were some people, at least they're saying this, within the state DHS and in the state departments that tried to call, hey, foul on this stuff. But they were
and they did.
And I have this question. It's the squarest question in the world, but I hear what you're saying, Mr. Seymore. I get it. You want to totally change the infrastructure as a first step.
We have to. We have to.
I understand, but my thing is too, you have several levels of infrastructure that you have to dive into within the state to even do that. You have a union, you have employee organizations, and
again, back
I
to
get. Let me
state
finish.
of emergency.
Let me finish. The state of emergency means a lot of things in the state
Yeah,
of
we're
Minnesota.
going to eliminate all that bureaucracy.
So here goes my question about process. How will you restructure leadership and reporting lines within state agencies such as the Minnesota Department of Education and the Office of Grant Management to ensure clear responsibility and avoid the communication breakdowns that allowed billions of improper payments? And the question is running on the screen. Also, if you'd like to look at it again, and that's the first of two I have. And if you want, I can read that again. How will you restructure leadership and reporting lines within the state agencies such as MDE and the Grant Management Organization to ensure clear responsibility and avoid the communication breakdowns that allowed billions of improper payments?
So here we go. Implement centralized grant management. Develop unified platform for grant applications and monitor ensure consistency and transparency throughout the state. Strengthen the oversight mechanisms. Increase the capacity of oversight bodies, new bodies, for the Office of Grant Management to conduct thorough evaluations and audits of funded programs. So again, I said, first of all, we got to get rid of the old guard. We can't keep the same people. Governors can appoint people. I'm going to have to go through an appointing process. I want y'all to also keep in mind the first 2 years of the new governor candidate, they're going off of the old money. Right? I'm not, my biannual will not start until 2028, right? So I have 2 years to restructure Minnesota. Prioritize competitive grant process. Encourage the use of competitive grant process. No more friends. So like, I'll tell you this, Bobby Joe got scrutinized, right? For for McAfee and a few other people just because he's in North Minneapolis, right? But he wrote those grants for specific organizations, patterns, not specific programs that the people need. The processes were not people led. And so we know how this works. We know who's in Sabathani. Just like in St. Paul, we know who's inside the Griggs building. I slept in the Griggs building during the pandemic and fed the outpatients for mental health every day I fed these people while the other offices were closed, saying that they fed people. I was there watching them not do the services that they were getting paid all through the pandemic. No one's watching.
Mm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's where it goes, and it's going up to the top. It's going up to the.
Right.
I mean, Ellison should be doing something about this. Clearly, Walls and Fry, they just continue to say, well, you can't paint everybody as bad. That's the only thing they have to say about it. They don't come down and try to fix the problems. They
Yeah,
don't
we
come.
can paint everybody as bad too, because look at the condition of our cities. See, Mr. Seymore, you cannot appoint anyone that's a current so-called leader today. Nobody. We need new appointees. We need people that are appointed that's going to be, just like you said, for the people. The services need to go to the people, not
Mhm.
pockets. Okay. You
Yeah.
know, so you have to like appoint
So
strong people
here's
that's
how.
not afraid to go up against fraud.
Yeah. So here's another thing, though. We also have to not be afraid to do what needs to be done, right?
Oops.
Let's say
There it
let
is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
let's say if we, I'm just throwing out names just hypothetically, but let's say violence prevention programs. Let's say we stop giving all money to violence prevention programs, right?
Absolutely.
There's let's say there's 10 violence prevention programs. Each of them have 10 people. That's 100 bodies, right? What we can instantly do, because the money is already available, what we can instantly do is say we will hire each and every one of the people that work for your program, because we are revamping how we spend these monies. We're not eliminating violence prevention. We are eliminating the possibility of going back to the old way of doing things. So imagine the CEO of Mother's Love no longer receiving a
Cut her
hundred,
shit
three
off
hundred.
right now, today.
So no longer receiving $150,000 in salary that should go to programming, but receiving a $75,000 salary, and that's an instant $75,000 boost to direct programming. Yes, we have cut your income, but the governor, do y'all know how much the governor gets paid? It's roughly $147,000. Do y'all know how many people in nonprofit organizations get paid more than the governor, the
A lot of
senator,
people.
the
A
state
lot
Yeah,
of
Sky
people.
auditor?
Bread, Sky Bread
Yeah.
getting 200 and some $1,000 at
And
Sebastian.
that money
Yeah.
should not come from the state of Minnesota. So when you
Where
write
does it
grants,
come from? Where does that? Okay,
Comes
we
from
have
us,
all
it
these
the
non
should
we have
taxpayers.
not come from
we
the
have all
state.
these nonprofits
Yeah.
and the nonprofits, but you have business, you have
Hmm.
education, you have
Hmm.
all these other sectors that as the governor you probably you're gonna have to have oversight. I mean, Tim Walz has a hard piece right now. All eyes on him, and at the end of the day, that can't be comfortable. Okay, just human nature. Let's just
I
talk
have
not
no
politics.
sympathy
Let's
for him.
I
I have
understand, but
no
let's talk human nature rather than politics right now. At the end of the day, uh, I want to see or hear what someone's going to do to fix that.
I don't want to repeat everything I said, but I gave you an answer. We need to overhaul our systems and not be afraid to do it, right? Even if that means some people get fired, even if that means some grant monies get temporarily cut off while we restructure. We have to do that. It's very simple. We can look and see how many years the exact same organization has received money over a 10-year, 5-year period of time and say you are non beneficial to the state of Minnesota with the amount of money that we've given you. We're done giving you money, right? And what that does is create what I said before, competitiveness. There is no competitive market with our gatekeepers, right? It's the same people receiving the same monies, right?
Mhm.
It's no
And I
different
want
than
to,
2000. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can go back 50 years.
But that's
Because
how
a
that's
lot of those same
I'm
gatekeepers, and
giving you.
there's not one governor that
Mhm.
addressed anything. So my
Okay,
question
but
is,
I
I'm throwing you a bone here. My question is, how do you fix it? And you don't have to repeat yourself, but that's what I want to know, the internal workings. That's what are we trying to motivate here? And I heard one lady kind of hint to burning the city down. So how do you control that crisis when you have people
number
in
one,
our community?
the governor's
What?
not God. I can't control what people
No,
say.
I'm not saying you
Oh
get
yeah, you
God.
can, because
No, you cannot. I'm
Governor
not.
Walls said protest quietly or
Yeah,
whatever, you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, safely, but he
He
could have
said it's your
said,
patriotic duty. Yeah. He again. Let's share something that I shared with y'all before the show started. To the Minnesota public, my name is Chris Seymore. I'm running for governor. One thing like y'all want me to fix what's going on now, I can't. But if I could fix what's going on now, we need to get rid of Tim Walz. We need to get rid of Peggy Flanagan. I've
Well,
been
you got to
saying,
win.
okay,
right.
so but if and when I win, also from the top down, I'm restructuring also how the DFL party works. It's full of gatekeepers, right? It's full of the people who have caused us the problem now.
Go ahead. This is Christopher Seymore. He's running for governor of Minnesota, and we'd like to give him the opportunity to take 2 minutes, if you'd like, and just
His
run
case.
it down to us. Let us know why our community, the mainstream dominant culture, should vote for you. The Native American community should vote for you. The Asian Minnesota should vote for you. Why should all these communities look straight at you and find out about you and put you in the governor's seat for the state of Minnesota? You're on.
Because I am the only one advocating for communities individually and collectively. One of my first things is that I'm championing legislative agendas.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Our Black
Yeah.
News. We'll be back next week with another candidate.
Yeah.